Why is it that Gen X women don't feel they deserve to take a break, or that they've earned the break, or guilt around resting? So let me tell you where I'm at. First of all, for those of you who are new, my name is Amy Palmer. I am your Gen X Big Sister, and we are going to get into it today. When I started out on this journey 4 years ago, so 4 years ago was when I left my corporate executive career and everything that came with that, not sure what to do. The first thing I did was take a sabbatical. Left the job, took a 3-month sabbatical. During that 3 months, I gave myself permission to do nothing. I prepared so that I didn't have to stress or worry or focus on bringing in money and generating income. And my only goal was to heal, get refreshed, and hopefully get some clarity. And at the end of 3 months, I've mentioned this before, at the end of the 3 months, couple things that I was clear on. I was clear that I wanted to continue to have the freedom of time and space in my life like I did during those 3 months. And the other clarity was I wanted to help other women who were in a similar boat to me. And that has taken on different forms over the last 4 years. It has primarily been focused around my podcast, my Blueprint Breakers podcast. But some of the things I started to talk about, in the beginning, I talked about what does it take to make a big pivot in your life? What does it take to start fresh, or to go in a new direction, or seemingly start over? So I was very action focused, and I really wanted to teach other women the actions that it takes to do that, and how you can leave your corporate job if you want to, and what that looks like. And I was very, very action focused. And what I soon learned was that women didn't take the time, Gen X women specifically, but also, women older than Gen X, women younger than Gen X. This spans generations, probably crosses over into other genders. Maybe it's not just women, but my focus for my audience is women, because that's what my experience has been. And I found that there was a big issue with rest. I kept recommending that people take some time, some silence, that it was important to get still and get silent. For me, that helped me to get back in touch with what I see as my higher power, the highest version of myself, really getting back in tune with her and being able to listen to her, which also could be called intuition in some ways too. I think it's all sort of interconnected in a lot of ways. And that was key. It was key. Taking that rest, getting that silence, getting still, and giving myself permission to do that was huge in my healing. It was huge in being able to reset and refresh. And I found that was a big sticking point for a lot of the women that I was talking with and that I was coaching. All right. And then before I go any further, I do need to apologize for my attire today. I'm having a kind of a crazy hair day again today. I just finished 2 long days of driving, road tripping through at the tail end of the winter storms on the East Coast, but there's still a lot of remnants of it. And I had my 2 retired parents in the car with me. I was driving them down to their winter home. And so it's been a long couple of days, and we just got in last night, and I'm not fully settled in yet. And I just, that's why you're getting me as I am in my full casual self as we talk about rest. All right. So I was a little bit dumbfounded about how massively common it was for women to have a challenge with this. Because what I realized over the last 4 years is I've been sharing what I've been learning about my journey. I started out talking about my sabbatical. That's what I wrote my ebook about, was my sabbatical and how I went about doing it, like the functional workbook around it. And then that sort of extended into taking a longer time. I extended my sabbatical, although it wasn't a sabbatical anymore because I was working, I was generating income, but I called it more of like my nomadic life. And that sort of evolved into what we call the grown-up gap year, taking that year to explore, to experiment, to figure out what we want in this world, to rest as much as we needed. So I started talking about that. All of these themes that I was sharing, the sabbatical, taking a grown-up gap year, living a creative digital nomadic lifestyle and having that freedom. I wanted to share all of this with as many people as possible. And the first response that I was getting, the first sort of objection in the way was, I can't stop. I can't get off this hamster wheel that I'm on. I have no time or space to take any time for myself. So talking with so many women who want to do something for themselves, they want to prioritize themselves, and they can't, or they don't, or they won't. And then as I started talking about pretirement, which is what it's all sort of morphed into for me. So it started sabbatical, gap year, nomadic lifestyle, pretirement. Pretirement, as you may recall from my previous last few videos, is the last decade and a half-ish before you are technically supposed to retire. And what does that life look like? And really considering it a practice, not just a phase. So letting go of some things that aren't serving for you, unwinding from the hustle and the grind, that's pretirement. So I was talking about all of this evolution, and a lot of you, that's what have brought a lot of my new a lot of my new subscribers have come to me based on me talking about pretirement and taking that break and getting ready in some ways for those later years. And many of you have responded, would love to think about it, but I can't. And you have a million valid reasons why you can't. And I hear you. I get that. My reasons why I couldn't were very different from yours, likely. The reasons why that I told myself. For a lot of you, your reasons are connected to other people and the obligations and the responsibilities that you have, especially to husbands, family, children, etc. And while that's not my reality, I can understand it and I can empathize being in that space. And for those of you who are wonderfully, supremely solo like myself, the reasons and the hurdles and the obstacles are different than what, if you've got these people around you depending on you, it's a different thing. For me, it was the challenge of, well, I can't get off this hamster wheel because I'm earning my money. I got my health insurance paid for. It's just me. I've got to prepare for this future. I got to bank this money. And plus, I haven't yet achieved the pinnacle of success of what I wanted to in this corporate career. So I can't stop until I reach it. Like I had all of these challenges, primarily that were internal challenges. Some of the external challenges around what I required financially, what my lifestyle required, paying for the home that I was living in, the car that I was driving, all of that as well. So I can understand that your challenges, my challenges, very different. At the same time, I'm talking to all of you who are so tired and so exhausted, and you can't even really think past that. You can't think about a sabbatical or a gap year or pretirement, whatever name I slap onto it. You can't even think about that because you are getting through each day and giving and taking care of your family, and it's just too much. I want to talk to you especially. You deserve a break. You deserve to rest. You deserve to have time and space to heal and refresh. Here's the thing. All of these people who depend on you, all of these reasons why you can't stop, what happens if and when you are forced to stop? What happens if your body just ultimately says, that's it, enough's enough? What then? Taking a break, getting rest is not selfish. I need you to hear me. Taking a break, getting rest, resetting for yourself, refreshing for yourself is not selfish. It is a very caring act. You know the saying that you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to keep your cup filled. So you deserve the opportunity to prioritize yourself. You deserve the opportunity to get still and to get quiet. I know you're thinking of all the 1,000,001 reasons why you can't. Well, who's going to do this? Who's going to take care of that? How can I do that? What's going to happen to this? I can't solve that on this short YouTube video here. And what I do know is that it starts with you deciding that it's worth coming up with a solution to take that break, to take that rest. I'm not saying you have to blow up your life. I'm not saying you have to go on a 3-month sabbatical. I'm saying, God, if you could just take a day, if you can take a day and intentionally take that day, whatever it ends up looking like, I'm just saying that your first step is giving yourself permission. And if you can't give yourself permission, I'm giving you permission. And all the other women that were in the comments of my previous videos that were rooting each other on, they're giving you permission. They're giving you permission to figure out how, when, where you can take this break. And you always are so strong for everybody, so competent, so able. You are managing everything. You're juggling it all. You're managing all the schedules. You're keeping on top of all the appointments, all the obligations, etc. The people who love you the most don't see that you're exhausted. Maybe they do. Maybe it is possible you could take it out on them in certain ways, but they don't necessarily equate that to, oh my God, she's exhausted. She really needs to take a break. One of the women who commented, I wish I had written down her handle, but she had mentioned that when I talked about the fact that we go through these tough seasons in life, we go through trauma that we're dealing with ourselves, and we're helping loved ones go through trauma. And even between those seasons, we don't take a break. And that hit her so hard that, she just burst out into tears, because it just stabbed her right to the heart. And hearing her say that reminded me of that feeling as well. The people who love you most, they don't want you to be gone. They don't want your body to give out. They don't want you to get ill, like seriously ill. They don't want that to happen to you, and they don't understand that it could, because you have been handling so much and making it, in some cases, making it seem, easy peasy, just another day. If they could actually see how badly you needed this break, how exhausted you are to your bones, if they could actually see it, they would support that you need a rest. So the purpose of my video today is simply that first step of giving yourself permission and deciding, you know what? I do need to rest. I need to do something to heal myself. So deciding that you're going to do that. And then comes the how. Who's going to need to help in that, and how do I make that happen? What resources do I have available to me to make that happen? Here's where I'm tuning in to many of you in here that have learned this over time, and it's a continued practice, as you know. I'm tapping into you now. What are some of the ways that you made it happen in spite of lots and lots and lots of obligations? So for myself, I took a more extended break. I had to release my job. I had to move out of my home and leave where I was living to enable an extended break to be able to afford it. But for you, it might be who's taking care of XYZ, who's taking care of this aspect of my parents who need help, or my kids who need help, or a particular financial piece. What about that unused PTO that you have that keeps banking up? If you have that. So giving yourself the permission, making the decision, and then deciding now I remember where I'm getting back to. Tapping into those of you who have done this before. How did you unravel from the obstacles? How did you figure out how to take a break? What did it take for you to get the break and the rest that you needed to heal, to get clarity, to have time to be still? I really, really would love to hear from you, because I only have one specific perspective. I want to hear perspectives of women from different walks of life so we can help each other out and figure this out. Because the one thing we can all agree on is you freaking deserve it. You deserve it. All right. Please remember to like and subscribe to this channel. My name is Amy Palmer. I am your Gen X Big Sister, signing off.